something extraordinary that I don't know that I have ever seen, I know that I've never seen, is an American president calling for revenge on other Americans based on what they believe in. And I find that to be extraordinarily outrageous, narcissistic, juvenile, just extraordinary for an American president to call on other Americans to have revenge on other Americans based on what they believe in. And if for no other reason, I think just looking at that kind of an issue and asking ourselves what we want in a president, that ought to be a huge red flag. Everybody knows where I stand on this, so I'm not afraid to say it. And so I just hope everyone will get out there and vote for the things that support and prosper freedom in this country. We do not have any other elected officials that I see. I hope I haven't missed anybody. And so we'll move on to item number 6, public comment.
Item 6, public comment on items not scheduled on the agenda. Is there anyone present this morning who would like to comment on a matter that is not on today's agenda?
Mr. Kelly.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What you just said is well said. I believe wholeheartedly that we need to be informed, stay informed, and actually do our best to do the right thing for the right reasons. And that's one of the reasons why I am here today. I'll be brief with my comments, as I always am. I am David Kelly, citizen of El Paso County. I also wanted to make a comment with disaster preparedness. Commissioner Clark made the comment about what's gone on the East Coast with Hurricane Sandy. And that was, I think, for a lot of people an eye-opener as to how ill-prepared the vast majority of Americans really are for any kind of disaster. And so I'll be with my group Liberty First doing something in January, February regarding disaster preparedness or yo-yo, you're on your own, because I think we do need to be prepared for that. So my comments today deals with the simple word of truth and illusions. Truth, I actually pulled this off of my calendar at home for the month of November, which I thought was appropriate. Truth. If there is one universal weakness, it is that we want to believe there is truth because we want clear answers rather than illusions. Truth is sometimes painful, but without it, there is only illusion. There are many certainties and even more illusions masquerading as the truth. Therefore, nothing short of living and learning will enable us to know the difference. I also have a quote by Maya Angelou, or Angelou, however you want to say it. I probably said that incorrectly. There's a world of difference between truth and facts. Facts can obscure the truth. I'm sure you remember my visit here in August. I addressed this board and shared with you the truth regarding the then proposed ballot language on the term limits question. And to refresh your memory, because I know that Commissioner Hisey and Clark were not in attendance, but they did receive a copy, I believe. I'd like to quote a couple of my paragraphs from that day. My issue with the current ballot wording on the term limits question, in particular, in any election held after November 6, 2012. Those few words go against the will of we the people and your employer's wishes. And that's us, and that's what's going on today, is the will of the people will be heard. If this ballot question passes on November 6th, then the people will have affirmed that term limits should return to 2 consecutive 4-year terms. However, the current language of after November 6th will give 2 current county district seats, which is Hisey's and Clark's seats, the guarantee of an unwarranted 3rd term. This would be in direct conflict with the people and would go against their will. The authors who placed the post-November 6th date on this ballot question knew that it would ensure a 3rd term regardless of the will of the people. And that's the will of the people of this county that you represent and the limits that they've asked to impose. I ask myself, why would public servants go to such lengths to protect themselves from the will of those they are sworn to serve? Later on, I went on and I asked this board to address that egregious, hubris-infected error and remove the specific date, replacing the date with language that would make the passage of this term ballot question applicable immediately to all current county commissioners. If any said commissioners are affected by the results of the November election, today's election, have no fear, and this, we've witnessed this recently, that there will be vacancy committees that can and will perform their duties as they have done before by appointing new members. That would fulfill the will of the people and hopefully bring back a sense of honesty and integrity to this body. If you choose not to, and this is what you guys did choose, then you will have to live with your decision and keep in the language as you have it with the post-November 6th effective date, which then will go against the will of the people, and that this body will become an oligarchy, and is defined by Webster, a government in which a small group exercises control, especially for corrupt and selfish purposes. Now, that's what's in control of this county right now, is an oligarchy, and forgive me for saying that. I didn't think I'd have to say that, but that's how I view it. And it disturbs me that we could not have removed those simple words and made it simple so that when the voters voted today, they wouldn't have to be dealing with that issue whatsoever, and that they would know that, yes, we're going to return to the two-term limit that the voters had imposed back in the 90s, and that it would be effective. So if you believe in liberty and seek the truth in all things as I do, I ask you to reflect on what I have said, digest it all, and make the right decision. I would hope that El Paso County's government is not an oligarchy. So if we the people speak or vote to reduce limits to 2 terms, will you do the right thing and choose to allow? Will you do the right thing or choose to allow hubris-infected, self-serving thinking lead us on a path to tyranny? Now, today's election results will determine where the will of the people has decided to stand. No one knows what the outcome will be. I don't. I really don't. I think it's going to be pretty close in a lot of races, and I think our county clerk, Wayne Williams, has a long night ahead of him. And I hope that we don't have any national issues on the national elections here. But at the local level, I hope it's decisive so that when you can wake up tomorrow morning, you know where the will of the people will stand. I respectfully ask every elected official, especially Commissioners Clark and Commissioner Hisey, to view the final results with integrity as that being of the will of the people. Because know this, I will. If the will of the people is to continue with the 3rd term, this will be the last time you will see me here discussing this subject. So if you are reelected and the people have decided to reduce the term limits to 2 terms once again, I ask you to decide what your future will hold. Will it be a future of listening to the will of the people, responding with dignity and honor by graciously resigning your seats and ending up your tenure at 2 consecutive terms? Or will you decide to take an easy path of illusion on the road to tyranny? I thank you for your time. Let's see how the vote turns out. Thank you.